Hey, this is Connor. This is video 3 of the 4 preparation videos I'm going to share with you. And in this video, I'm going to ask you to share some homework with us. I want you to share a 20 or 30-second video where you share a story. I'm going to tell you what that story is going to be about. So video number 1, I asked you to work through the 3 worksheets and just look at what you already know about communication. Video 2, I ask you to pick one specific change and define the point X, the action you'd like the audience to do immediately upon hearing your speech. And point X has a powerful way of helping you get out of your own head and imagine what would it take for an audience. What would they need to know? What would they need to know about you and your motivation? What would they need to feel in order to take this action? And what I want to do today is have you think back to what was the first moment in your life that this change became important to you. So the change you picked and the action that you want the audience to take, you were not born knowing that this was important. Something happened between your birth and this video here today. Something happened. You saw something, you heard something, you witnessed something. You saw something or you lived something, and in that moment you knew that this was important, that this doesn't happen again, or that this is possible for other people. And I want you to pick that moment in your life where something happened and it really was the first moment that you said to yourself, this change is something that I want to be part of making in the world. Now, for many years I've worked with people on identifying the moment of change. And if we had the opportunity to be there in the room together, we could coach through. What I want to talk about here is the further back in time that this story happens, the more powerful it is. So if something happened last week, the audience is going to say, well, if it happened a week ago, I'm going to wait a little while to see if you really are committed. But if this is something that happened 20 years ago, and for 20 years in little ways and big ways and all sorts of ways, you've been going around working to make this change, the audience sees that you are committed. So finding a story where it comes from quite a few years ago is very important in showing the audience that this change is not some fly of the night idea. It's not something you just came up with recently. It's something that you've already significantly dedicated time and effort to. And if the audience decides to engage, they can count on you remaining with this. So I want you to stop now and just think about what happened. And for some of you, this is easy. There's a clear moment where you just know that's the moment that this change happened for you. For others, you're going to have to think a bit. And I know in EO, we very often use the lifeline exercise at the beginning of creating a forum. So one tool that is very powerful is going and just putting together a lifeline and working back through and finding the moment in your life where this change became something that is important to you. So I'd like you to do that and pick the story. So pause this video now and just take that time to reflect and find the story. And when you found the story, play, and I've got an exercise I'd like you to do to really make that story specific. So I'm assuming you're playing now because you've identified the moment in your life where something happened. You witnessed something, you overheard something, and that event had the impact of you deciding this is important. What I want you to do now is share that in a video following 5 steps. 1, the moment in time. 2, the situation. Where are you? Who's around? 3, complications. Something happens. 4, hold the tension. 5, resolve the story. So moment in time. Date, the number of years ago, or the age you were. So one example would be when I was 14 years old, I remember sitting in class and I turned over my homework, and on the top of the homework I saw in red 11 out of 10. The teacher had given me 11 marks for a homework that only had 10 points. And I remember looking at this in disbelief. I went up to the teacher at the end of class and I said, "Mr. Matz, I think you've made a mistake." And I remember he looked at me and he said, "Mr. Neil, 10 was for the best I had expected for this homework. You've done better than I had imagined. You deserve 11. And in that moment, all that I learnt in school about exams and results changed. And that conversation, that realization that there's a grade beyond an A, that a teacher had taken a real interest in what I'd done, he'd seen something special in me, changed my life. So what I want you to do is something similar. Moment in time, situation, something happens, hold the tension and resolve it. Now, this way of communicating is not something that we practice a lot. For 14 years of school, you've learned to give the answer. For 4 years of university, you've learned to give the answer. But to be persuasive, people don't resist change, but they resist being changed. And one of the powerful ways of beginning a process of influence is, instead of shoving the idea straight at the person, sharing the moment where this change happened to you. So this is the exercise I'd like you to do now. To make a short video with your smartphone, with a phone, with your laptop, 20-30 seconds where you share this moment of change from your life. And usually it takes 4 or 5 edits to get one that you start to be happy with. Sometimes people do up to 20. But what I want you to do is, when you finish this video, start recording yourself. You can grab your phone and just make a selfie video with your iPhone or your Android, or use your laptop, but just capture the video of you sharing the story of the moment in your life where you saw something, you heard something, you witnessed something that changed you, and this theme, this change that you want to make, became really important to you. Have a great one, and I look forward to seeing some of these videos, and I will be looking forward on the 20th to really working to help these stories get powerful so that they really can have an impact for you. Have a great one.